Well, President Trump in recent days on his Iran strategy. We're going to take a look at the situation all across the Middle East. The AP at this hour writes it this way. The United States expanding its attacks against Iran early Friday by hitting more bridges and energy sites, collapsing a tower at a key Iranian port, backing up President Donald Trump's threats to target infrastructure to pressure Tehran to ease its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. saying that Iran doesn't have that chokehold. Iran says it does. We've been having this back and forth for weeks. Let's bring in Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired General Jack Keane. General, great to see you.
Yeah, great seeing you.
You know, the U.S. clearly has spent 7 days really targeting sites in and around the Strait of Hormuz and also command and control for IRGC.
Yeah, very much so. Well, first of all, it's obvious President Trump gave these guys about as much rope as you possibly could give them when you consider we went to a ceasefire back on April the 8th. And we actually had a document the two presidents signed, the MOU. And the only agreement in the MOU, Brett, was the Straits. Everything else was a promise to come. And within days, they literally began to attack and take control of the Straits of Hormuz. So the president's decision, I've had it, we're going to forcibly take control of the Straits, is the right call. And we did this with Project Freedom, remember? On May the 4th, we did the same thing. And on the 36th hour, we stopped it after the Saudis took our airspace and air base away from us using it and said the operation was not going to succeed. So we're back at it again. The plan then was for about 2 weeks to conduct this operation. As you indicated, we're around the 7th day of it, so we have 4 or 5 more days to go in the minds of the Central Command Commander, Admiral Cooper, who reports to Secretary Hegseth and the President regularly. And they're rightfully they're stopping their ability to interfere in the Straits with all of what that means. They're attacking their capability to retaliate, because what Iran is going to do is not just interfere at the Straits, they want to widen the war by attacking Gulf oil bases, Gulf oil civilian infrastructure, U.S. bases. Also, as you can see, try to get the Houthis involved in this, all to put pressure on the United States. So we have to take away their retaliation capability. So that's a major effort that's going on, ballistic missile storage.
Where do you see that capability, though, tonight? I mean, where is Iran tonight? We know the Navy is underwater. We know that the Air Force is done. But the missile, the ability to fire missiles, how many they have left, what is their capability?
Well, when we stopped the war, they had somewhere in excess of 1,000 ballistic missiles, maybe north of 1,500. About 150 or so launchers is what they had. Launchers are key. If you eliminate the launchers, you eliminate the whole enterprise.
And they dug some of those out.
And yeah, for our audience to understand, we rubbled the entrances to the tunnels. We couldn't penetrate to get to the missiles, so we rubbled them. They've excavated. They've taken some of those out. We're rubbling that again and taking down the missiles. The other thing that's in the plan, and you referenced it here in the introduction, is we can put more pressure on the Iranians by going after their national infrastructure. Some of that was discussed right here. And that's power plants, it's energy sources, it's airports, it's ports. You want to also isolate Iran completely from the countries that surround it, that they're trading with and getting things out and getting things in, because so much is being denied from them at sea. So there's a lot of things that can be done here to bend them to our will.
White House Press Secretary back at the podium, Caroline Leavitt, about diplomacy. Take a listen.
Iran very much continues to talk to the United States of America and express that they want to make a deal with us because they are suffering devastating blows on behalf of our United States military.
I hear that from the White House Press Secretary. I hear it from the President that Iran wants to make a deal. Is diplomacy in this environment where you have two sides, one that's talking to us and Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, and one that's firing and pushing the buttons on the ground, is it possible even in that dichotomy?
Well, this is a mirage that they are so successful at creating. And they've done it. It began with Jimmy Carter, all through Reagan, all the way up to the current administration. And their narrative is simply this. They create a narrative that we are the diplomats and we're more moderate than the hardliners who are running the regime. And you got to help us motivate and change the hardliners somewhat. And we do. This is the key point. We want to coexist with you. So let us work this together. And every negotiating team believes, wow, we're dealing with people that are much more reasonable than we've dealt with in the past.
And we're going back decades here.
And we're going back to Jimmy Carter, who extended a hand to the regime that just took over. He stiffed the Shah, and then they stormed our embassy. We're going back to Ronald Reagan. When they released the hostages on the day of his inauguration, he and his team thought, well, we're going to be able to work with the Iranians. They blew up 2 embassies and blew up our barracks. The list goes on and on and on. These moderates, who they believe are reasonable, report to the guys that are running the regime. They are as committed to the goals of the regime as the so-called hardliners. There's just one. And we've got to understand this. And every new administration has to find out this awful truth. And the president knows it. Oh, these guys are crazy. They lie. They cheat. And that is the truth of it. Even though they're sophisticated diplomats, they appear urbane, and they appear to be very reasonable, and just help us work with the hardliners.
Last thing, General, the end game here, because there's a lot of people in America who want to see this come to an end. They obviously want to see gas prices go down. Politically, the president and his party would like to see that before the midterms. Does this come to an end, or are we talking about this a year from now?
We should not. When we stopped on April the 8th, we had, in the minds of the both military commanders on the IDF and CENTCOM, we had about 2 weeks to finish it. And that's still out there. I think the sooner we finish it, the sooner we end the problem with oil prices and the rest of it. The longer we drag this out, the longer you have that problem existing. I'm not minimizing the problem. I think, listen, political objectives, economic objectives are real issues. Every president has to contend with them. And how you balance that against military objectives and dealing with this regime is the president's decision, and I respect that decision. But there is a means here. We can finish these guys and put them in a place where they're on the pathway to collapse. And I think we're on the pathway now. Good talking.
General, as always, thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.